Level 1. The Nobody. You work at a petrol station. You mop floors. You smell like unleaded and regret. But every night after your shift, you open a lockbox under your bed and you look at it. A single gold coin. Heavy. Old. Stamped with a design you don't recognize. You don't even know where you got it. A car crashed into the petrol station one night. The driver didn't stay in it. The coin did not go far. You picked it up. You thought it was a novelty, a prop. You've since learned it is worth more than your flat, your car, and your dignity combined. You don't know what it buys. You don't know who accepts it. You tried Googling it. Nothing came up. You asked a coin dealer once. He went very quiet, handed it back, and asked you to leave. There is a whole world running underneath this one. Its own economy, its own hotels, its own rules, its own body disposal service, and you are not in it. You don't even know how lucky that makes you. Level 2. The Street Thug. You work for Vigo Tarasov, loosely. You stand outside clubs. You look intimidating. You own a gun, a cheap Makarov you bought off a man who smelled like cabbage, and you've used it twice. Once at a range, once at a pigeon who had it coming. You get paid in cash. You don't ask questions. Your boss's son comes in one night absolutely buzzing, bragging about a car he nicked and a dog he killed. You think nothing of it. 3 days later, you and 42 of your colleagues are dead. The man he robbed was not a civilian. He was the man Vigo once described, in a rare moment of honesty, as the one you send to kill the boogeyman. His name is John Wick. His wife had just died. That dog was the last thing she gave him. You were standing between him and the door. That was your only mistake. And it was the last one you made. You were his warm-up. You were literally his warm-up. Level 3. The Hired Gun. You've been in this business long enough to have a reputation. Not a great one, but a reputation. You take contracts through administration. They post the job, you accept. You get paid in gold. You've got a decent kit, a Glock 17, a suppressor that actually works. God, I love a suppressor that actually works. Body armor that fits. You've done 6 clean jobs this year. You feel confident. Then a $2 million open contract drops on a man named John Wick, and every assassin in New York is sprinting toward the same address. You get to the Red Circle nightclub. You go in through the back. You find the hallway. You see what's left of the hallway. There are men on the floor at angles their bodies were not consulted about. There is a man in the pool. There is a man who appears to have been used as a weapon against another man. You stand there. You look at the Glock in your hand. You look at the hallway. You put the Glock away. You go home. You do not collect the 2 million. Some contracts are not worth the rate. Level 4. The Cleaner. You don't kill anyone. You make them disappear. You arrive after the screaming stops and leave before the police arrive. You have a van, a team of 4, coveralls that have seen things no fabric should witness, and a standing account at 3 chemical suppliers in New Jersey who stopped asking questions years ago. You have a playlist for long jobs, mostly Motown. It helps. The Continental contracts you exclusively. Chair and calls, you come. Flat rate per body, no questions. You've cleaned up after John Wick twice. The first time was the Red Circle. 77 bodies across 3 floors, a nightclub, a pool area, and 2 back corridors. 11 hours, 2 additional vans. The second time you took a personal day after, for mental health reasons. You still get paid in gold. You still don't ask questions. You've made peace with the fact that some men are forces of nature, and your job is to tidy up after the weather. You just wish the weather would stay in one postcode. Level 5. The Specialist. You're not just an assassin, you're an artist. There's a difference, and it matters. You dress like it. Tailored trousers, a jacket from a man in the garment district who doesn't advertise and doesn't ask questions. You look expensive. In this business, looking expensive is a form of threat assessment. You have a speciality, a method, a preferred weapon, and you visit the Continental sommelier the way other people visit their GP, regularly, with specific complaints, hoping to go home with something powerful. He lays it on the velvet. The weight is right. The balance is extraordinary. You handle it, and you almost don't want to use it on anyone. Almost. Maybe you're Zero's type. Martial arts, blade work, the smile that says you genuinely enjoy your work. Maybe you're more like Cassian, composed, precise, the kind of man who irons his tactical vest. Either way, you've crossed paths with John Wick, and you are still here. Cassian and Wick stabbed each other, and then sat on a train and had a drink together, like colleagues after a difficult quarterly review. That's the life. You respect it. Level 6, the Continental asset. You live in the hotel now. You have a suite. You pay in gold. Everything is above board. But the Continental is your home. You know Charon by name. He knows your order. The concierge has sourced things for you that you will not put in writing. A particular firearm that required 3 separate import exemptions and a quiet conversation with someone in Geneva. You tipped him in gold. He nodded. That was the entire exchange. You carry it in a shoulder rig under a jacket that cost more than most people's rent. Nobody can tell. That's the point. You operate under the hotel's protection. No business on Continental grounds. You understand this rule completely, right up until it becomes inconvenient. The moment it becomes inconvenient, you remember that Winston is watching. The cameras are always on, and the last person who broke the rules here got excommunicadoed so fast, their gold coins hadn't even hit the marble. You order another Macallan. You wait. This is as good as this life gets. Level 7, the excommunicado. It happened in about 45 seconds. One moment you were a fully certified gold card-carrying member of the underworld. The next, your card was declined at the front desk. Your face was on every administration screen from New York to Casablanca, and every assassin within 100 miles had your home address, which you had never, not once, given to anyone. You didn't even do anything that bad. One slightly irregular thing. And now there is a number attached to your head, a number with several zeros, and strangers are trying to kill you while you're buying milk. The gun on your hip is a Glock 19. Standard, nothing special. You used to visit the sommelier. Now you buy off whoever is selling and you don't linger over the velvet. The jacket has a tear in the left sleeve from last Tuesday. You haven't had time to replace it. You've started sleeping in different places. You are starting to understand things about John Wick you never understood before. The permanent exhaustion. The way he moves through public spaces like every doorway is a potential problem. You get it now. You really, genuinely get it. Level 8, the High Table Enforcer. You are the adjudicator. You represent the high table in all earthly matters. You do not negotiate. You arrive in a black car. Your coat is Brioni. You do not carry a weapon. You have never needed one. You arrive in a room and the weapons are already pointing away from you, because everyone understands instinctively that you are not a target. You are a verdict. You don't shout, you don't threaten, you simply explain what will happen, in the tone of someone reading a weather forecast. It is going to rain. Someone is going to lose their position. Someone is going to receive 7 cuts. You gave Winston Scott 7 days to vacate the Continental. You gave the Bowery King 7 cuts with a straight razor, both in the same tone, same expression, same coat. You deal in consequences. You are not sentimental. You had a very good piece of cake at the Continental. The pastry chef is exceptional. You did not compliment it. Complimenting things is not your job. Level 9, the legend. There are names in this world that are not spoken lightly. Baba Yaga, the man who completed the impossible task, killed the entire Tarasov syndicate in one night, so Vigo would grant him his freedom, and then came back years later and burned it all down again because someone killed his dog. You are not quite John Wick, but you are close enough. You wear bespoke, 3-piece, charcoal, Savile Row. You carry an HK USP match. You've had it for 11 years. You've never introduced it to anyone who survived the meeting. The Continental staff greet you before you reach the desk. Other assassins give you a very specific kind of eye contact. The quiet calculation of whether today is the day. It is not today. You finish your whiskey, you leave. Nobody follows you out. That's how you know exactly where you stand. Level 10, John Wick. Your name is Jardani Javonovich. They call you the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. You killed 3 men with a pencil. You killed a man with a library book. You killed people on horseback, and the horse was also involved. You were excommunicado with a $14 million bounty on your head, and you are still here. You killed the elder because he asked you to cut off your ring finger, and you decided that was rude. You challenged the Marquis de Gramont to a single combat duel under rules not invoked since the 1700s, and you won it bleeding out on the steps of the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. Your primary weapon, the HKP-30L, chambered in 9x19mm parabellum, custom compensator fitted. That is a beautiful gun. That is a genuinely, objectively, profoundly beautiful gun. You've also used a Kimber Warrior, a Glock 26, a TTI Combat Master, a shotgun in a library, a horse, and a man's own body against himself so efficiently it bordered on impolite. You wear a suit, always. Every fight, every hallway, every rooftop, every horse. It is not a choice. It is the last thing standing between John Wick and the idea that any of this was ever improvised. 14 seconds in the Red Circle corridor, 12 in the catacombs beneath Paris, 7 on the steps of the Sacré-Cœur. You do not rush. You simply work, at a pace that suggests the outcome was never in question. 439 kills, 4 films, 1 suit. You came out of retirement because someone killed your dog. Her name was Daisy. She was a gift from your dead wife. You are the reason every assassin in the world checks under their bed before they go to sleep. You are John Wick, and you are very, very tired. But you are here. Before we get to him, here's everyone who didn't make it. Some of them were good. Some were very good. None of them were him. These 2 came closest. That's the most generous thing I can say. I have read a great many files in my time. I have never written a threat assessment quite like this one. Asset, uncontained. Status, standing. Recommendation, none. There isn't one. If you'd like to see what it's like to work your way up through other organizations just as questionable as this one, do subscribe. The next briefing is already on the table.